think I'm gonna build a shop stool. I also have a really awesome shop stool. I do have that shop stool video coming out pretty soon. So noisy, but so fun. What's going on? I'm Jody. This is Inspire Woodcraft. Today, I'm making a shop stool. Alright, truth be told, I lost a ton of footage. The whole center section of this build is just gone. It's missing, it's not gonna be around anymore. So I'm gonna do the best I can with this. Now, I don't know how to do color grading and stuff, but I did have some white balance and lighting issues, and that totally screwed the video up. So it's gonna get a little yellow, and then it's gonna get whatever this is. Anyways, bear with me. Let's jump right into the build. This stool is made out of a bunch of stacked pieces of plywood. So I cut a bunch of discs out of 3/4 inch plywood, and to do that, I had to build a jig. So I built a circle cutting jig. I'll link that video at the end of this, and I'll put it down in the description below. Basically, that would enable me to make several circular cuts perfectly on the bandsaw. Now this jig's super easy to use. You find the center mark of the piece that you want to cut, and you use this ring, this donut, line up your crosshairs. Now you can throw it in the bandsaw and you can go and cut an infinite amount of circles. This is in multiple layers. It starts out at 12 inches at the base. So I needed to go up in 1/2 inch steps. Yeah, now I did 12s, 10s, and 8s. I did 11s, 9s, and 7s. I basically did all of them at the same time. Now here's how this thing would end up looking. We're gonna have 3 rings at the bottom that are about 1/2 inch wide. Our base, we're gonna go up to 6 inches. We're gonna come up and have the floor, the sides, and the seat for the storage compartment. So now I would start gluing all these up. For this first ring, I just glued the split and then threw a clamp on there. Once I had that dry, I would come through and I would start stacking the skirt rings on top of each other. And I'm just using a 15 gauge finish nailer to nail these all together. Once I had the skirt lined up, I put the very base. That base is gonna be what we're gonna attach our wheels to later on down the road. For the top, I laminated 2 solid 12-inch pieces together, and that's gonna be the seat. I wanted a little more support there. Then I would start putting in the walls of the storage unit, followed by the floor, and then the rest I would just keep stacking up just like I did the first one. And then I could glue the 2 halves together, and I had what looked like a spaceship. So I started with 60 grit flap disc on the grinder, and I started shaving away. And I was just kind of carving things down as I went, trying to get those stair steps to disappear so that it would be one smooth plane the whole way down. All right, now this is where I would lose footage. Basically what I did is I took a belt sander and I would use it to shape and keep this at an even plane. This actually worked a lot better than the grinder. It was still a really slow process, and it was super, super dusty. I don't think I'll ever do this again unless it comes with a really high commission check. Took the sander and just kind of went around like so. Did the same thing for the top. And I got the bulk of it shaped out with that, and then I switched to a palm sander. And then I was able to get into some fine details, and I was able to actually shape the round curvature, but still maintain that angle. I took some 5-minute epoxy, I dumped some red mica powder in it, and I mixed it up. And I used it to fill all these little voids and stuff. Kind of like this here, and you could probably see some of it down here. So you'll see that a little bit later, but basically what I did is I just filled that up full of epoxy, and then I would come back later and I'd use 120 and 220 on the orbital sander, and I would smooth all that stuff out, get rid of the excess, the pour over, and yeah, I think that's about it. Now you guys can see here where I have this little patch here, and I also have a patch here next to the magnet. Also, there's a patch right here. I originally had a hole drilled in here, and that was supposed to accept a pin that would both line up. I don't know, it's hard to explain. Basically what it was is that was supposed to be a hidden pin that would act as the swivel for the lid. Now I switched to magnets because what happened is that somehow I got that pin misaligned and I blew through the whole thing when I tried to whiten it out. I was gonna use 3/8 aluminum round stock, and it requires a special drill bit. It's just a little bit bigger than 3/8. So as I was plowing through there to widen the hole out, I blew through the whole base of it right here. And so then it just kept getting worse. I just kept messing with it until I just made the whole thing absolutely worse. So that's where I came up with the magnet idea, which actually turned out really well. So all worked out in the end, but there was a little catastrophe there for a little bit. So my hinge seat mechanism, I originally had 5/16 inch magnets, but I decided I wanted a little bit more bite. So before I glued them in, I actually reamed the holes out and used a 1/2 inch bit to open them up, and then I put 1/2 inch magnets in there instead. Now to hold them in, I would just mix up some 5-minute epoxy, put it into the holes, and then put them in flush. Now, more of the footage that got lost was where I put caster wheels on the bottom of this, and it didn't work at all. It spun and moved really nice, and it was fairly quiet, but it was tipsy. So instead, I ordered some transfer bearings, but they were shorter in height. So now I would have to go in and I'd have to shim this up. I just took a piece of 3/4 inch and 2 pieces of 1/4 inch hardboard. When I stacked all those together, that would give me just the right clearance for the wheels to peek out underneath. Now, I decided to go with 4 transfer bearings, and so far this thing's turning out good, but as you can tell, it's super noisy. But it rolls really well. And I would wrap the whole thing up by finishing it with some boiled linseed oil. Now I'm gonna do several coats of this as time goes on. Boiled linseed oil isn't a hard finish, so it's gonna wear really nice on certain spots, and that's really what I wanted to go for. It also really highlights the colored epoxy that I used to fill the voids. I think it turned out really, really nice. I'm super stoked with the final fit and form and finish of this entire thing. You know, it's noisy, but I'm not gonna let that bother me, because to be honest, I never have time to sit down anyways. I did make it at a certain height to fit my assembly table that I have now and future assembly tables, workbenches and whatnot, so that I can write, I can sketch things out, I can do my plans, you know, whatever it is, and I can have the table right here. Before, I was sitting on a bucket and writing up here. I felt like a little kid, like I needed a phone book. You know, when you put the, never mind. All right, so that wraps it up for this one. I apologize sincerely for the technical difficulties. I'm still learning. Obviously, I mean, we're like 14, 15 videos in, and I still don't have the whole filming and camera stuff down pat, but we're getting there, baby steps. The next build coming up was going to be the lava river. If you've been following me on Instagram at Inspire Woodcraft, a lot of folks are probably interested to see how the lava river went down. I have that footage. I'm just not ready to put it all together yet because the lava river table concept isn't quite done yet. However, I think I might be taking a break. I think I might be actually cleaning this mess up. I don't know if you guys can see. Over there, I share a shop with a stroller. I share a shop with 2 strollers and a lawn chair, and so we need to finally get this thing cleaned out. I'm gonna finally build the wall. We'll have a storage area over here that'll be dust free. It'll be kind of a clean room, so to speak, and then I'll have all my tools in my shop out here. I'll be able to start organizing things and start building a lot more shop furniture, a new bench and stuff like that, so we can really start cranking stuff out, not only for YouTube content, but for production and sale as well. So I'm super stoked for that, but I don't know, we'll try and see if we can make a video out of it. I'm gonna stop rambling. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you feel so inclined, go ahead and subscribe and like and hit that little notification bell. Also, if you have done any plywood laminating or power carving or anything like that, let me know how your experience, and actually link some videos to it if you have videos, because I would totally want to check that out. I'm not really digging the way that I did it because this place is a disgusting mess, but in the future I might entertain something else similar to this, so let me know what you guys thought. Anyways, I'm still rambling. Thanks so much for all the love and support, and I will see you guys in the next video.